March break is here, and there's no better way to enjoy the beautiful spring weather than a trip out to the sugar bush at Mountsberg Conservation Area to celebrate that quintessential Canadian food, maple syrup.
Well, Mountsberg's Mapletown runs from the first week of March until April the 6th, and we're open weekdays, weekends, and holidays. March break, we're expecting 9 days of what we call March break maple madness, and over the course of the season, probably about 20,000 visitors will come and see us. And the reason they're coming to see us is that it's a demonstration working sugar bush. So we tap about 600 spiles into the trees in our sugar bush. It's a 150-year-old sugar bush, previously worked by the Cameron family. And we serve pancakes out here. We make candy that we serve. We have horse-drawn sleigh rides where our percheron horses take people through what we call the upper sugar bush, where they can see the bulk of the trees that are tapped. And we do actually take the sap and make it into syrup in our evaporator. And once that syrup is produced, we serve it on our pancakes.
Before the land became a part of the conservation area, the stand of maple was a part of the farm owned by the Cameron family, who tapped the trees every spring. Now the land is used by Halton Conservation year-round to promote outdoor activities and to showcase how a sugar bush works.
When you arrive at Mapletown, there's a lot to see and do. So there's basically 3 areas of the park that you can explore. The first one that you'll see from the parking lot is the Raptor Center. And the Raptor Center is where we house our non-releasable birds of prey. There is also our farmyard, our Cameron farmyard, where the kids can go and enjoy the play barn. We have baby animals in there, so baby goats, baby bunnies. Our horses that aren't working are in that barn. And then when you get across the railway tracks and over into what we call Mapletown, we've got 4 buildings. We've got a country store, pancake house, and a candy cabin where people like to spend a lot of time eating free candy. And then there's the evaporator, and that's where we actually make the sap into syrup. And they'll be able to see all of the buckets, of course, the 600 taps.
Despite a long, harsh winter, the sap is now starting to flow, and visitors to Mapletown can see how the sugar-making process works, from the buckets on the trees to the constantly working evaporator.
This is where the magic happens. So this is where we actually make the maple syrup. We're tapping about 600 trees in the Mountsberg Sugar Bush for Mapletown, and when the sap starts to run, we'll be hauling it in here and putting it in the evaporator. And the evaporator is basically just a big stove, a little fancy. It's got a corrugated bottom to increase the surface area, the heat that you can get at the syrup, and it's going to boil it down from about 3% sugar to about 66-67% sugar.
Now, you said it was 40 liters of sap for 1 liter. How long does it take in here to get to the syrup point?
It is an excellent question that's very hard to answer. It really depends on how hot we get the fire. Depends on what time of the maple season that you're actually collecting the sap, because the sugar content in sap declines over the course of the season. So early in the season, a tree could be at 3% sugar, and it will take much less time to boil it down to syrup than at the end of the season, when it might be closer to 1.5% sugar, where you're going to have to boil that sap for longer. It could take 8 hours, it could take less.
Now, you and Crawford Lake are both doing maple events this March, and one of the things that I've been told is that birch syrup is being tasted at Crawford Lake. Tell me a little bit about the difference between birch syrup and maple syrup.
Okay, well, there's a lot of difference, and we're excited to be able to have folks try this. Our forestry crew introduced us to it. It's very popular in Northern Europe, and we had to order ours from Quebec. So one difference is that we don't typically make it in Ontario. The other is it takes a lot more birch sap to make birch syrup. So 40 to 1 for maple. And birch is 80 or 100 to 1 to be able to make this syrup, because it's just got such a lower sugar content. And the taste is also very, very different. So about a liter of birch syrup will run you about $120. A liter of maple syrup will run you, just a little over $20.
So there's a significant difference, but people over March break and at Crawford Lake, or March break here at Mountsberg and then at Crawford Lake, can taste it.
If they come out during March break, our forestry crew will be here, and they do syrup samples out in the sugar bush. If they're at Crawford Lake anytime during maple season, that's right up to April 6th, we do syrup samples up in the Iroquois Village.
Mapletown runs from March 1st to April 6th. For more information, go to conservationhalton.ca. At Mountsberg Conservation Area, I'm Michelle Gaetian for Halton Insider.